Before we get deep into the story, please let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Hit subscribe if you're hooked in and ready to enjoy this story, because tomorrow I have another beautiful story to share with you, and I don't want you to miss it for anything. Tony pressed his face against the cold window of the abandoned warehouse, his breath fogging the glass. 3 weeks. That's how long his brother Mike had been missing. The police had given up after week 1. Another runaway, they said. But Tony knew better. Mike wouldn't leave without a word, not after everything they'd survived together since their parents died. The only lead was this place, a derelict building on the edge of town where Mike's phone had last pinged. Tony pushed open the rusted door, his flashlight cutting through the darkness. The smell hit him first, copper and decay, mixed with something sweet he couldn't identify. "Mike?" His voice echoed off concrete walls covered in strange symbols. Not graffiti, these were carved deep, deliberate, ancient. A sound behind him. Tony spun around but saw only shadows. His heart hammered as he ventured deeper, following a trail of dried blood that led to a basement door. He shouldn't go down there. Every instinct screamed at him to run, but it was Mike, his little brother. Tony descended the stairs into the unknown. The basement was worse than Tony imagined. Chains hung from the ceiling, and more of those symbols covered every surface. In the center of the room stood a wooden chair, ropes still attached, stained dark with blood. "You shouldn't be here." Tony whirled around. A man stood at the top of the stairs, mid-30s, dressed in a long black coat despite the summer heat. His eyes caught the flashlight beam, reflecting gold like an animal's. "Who are you? Where's my brother?" "My name is Ben," the man said, descending slowly. "And if your brother was here, he's either dead or wishes he was." "What the hell does that mean?" Ben stopped a few feet away, studying Tony with unnerving intensity. "This is a feeding ground. Has been for decades. The symbols, they're wards, meant to keep something contained." He paused. "They've been broken. You're insane." "Am I?" Ben gestured to the blood-soaked chair. 3 bodies were found near here last month, completely drained. The city called it a serial killer. They're wrong. Tony's hands shook. "Drained of what?" "Blood." Ben's expression was grim. "Your brother stumbled onto something ancient and hungry, a vampire named Constantine. If you want to find him, you'll need my help. But I have to warn you, the things you'll learn, the things you'll see, there's no going back." Tony looked at the chair, at the symbols, at this strange man with impossible eyes. His brother was out there somewhere, possibly dying, possibly already changed into something else. "Tell me everything." Ben nodded slowly. "Get in my car. There's someone you need to meet." The address led to an upscale apartment building in the city's historic district. Ben knocked on door 7C using a specific rhythm. 3 slow, 2 fast, 3 slow. The woman who answered was stunning, dark hair, pale skin, and eyes that held centuries of sadness. She looked at Ben with wariness and something deeper. Recognition. "I told you never to come here," she said. "Mary, I need your help." She noticed Tony, and her expression shifted. "You brought a human? Here? His brother is missing. Constantine has him." Mary's face went white. After a long moment, she stepped aside. "Get in, quickly." The apartment was beautiful but strange. Heavy curtains blocked every window. No mirrors anywhere. The temperature was noticeably cooler than outside. Tony's mind was working overtime, piecing together impossible conclusions. "You're one of them," he said quietly. "A vampire." Mary poured herself a glass of dark red liquid from a wine bottle. Not wine. Very perceptive. She didn't hide what she was drinking. "I knew Constantine before Ben was even born, before this country existed." "And you'll help us?" "Constantine and I have history. Bad history. If he's truly free, no one in this city is safe." Ben pulled out a map marking locations. 3 bodies here, here, and here, all within a mile of the warehouse. "He's feeding, getting stronger." "He'll head for the old cathedral," Mary said immediately. "It was his sanctuary before Catherine trapped him. Underground tunnels, no sunlight, easy to defend." She looked at Tony. "If your brother is alive, that's where he'll be." "Then we go now." "No," Mary said firmly. We go at dawn. Constantine will be weakest then, forced to rest. That's our only advantage. Her eyes met Ben's. You understand what you're asking? If we face him directly? I know. Tony looked between them, sensing unspoken history. What aren't you telling me? Ben's jaw tightened. That vampires like Constantine have survived for centuries by being smarter, faster, and more brutal than any hunter. That going after him is probably suicide. Then why do it? Because some things are worth dying for, Mary said softly. Ben spread weapons across Mary's dining table. Silver knives, wooden stakes, vials of clear liquid, and something that looked like a modified crossbow. Vampires are fast, stronger than any human. Their senses are heightened, especially smell and hearing. He loaded bolts into the crossbow. They can heal from most wounds in seconds, but they have weaknesses. Sunlight, stakes through the heart, holy water, Tony recited. I've seen the movies. Movies get it half right, Mary said. Sunlight weakens us, yes. Makes us sluggish, painful. Direct exposure for extended periods will kill. Stakes through the heart paralyzes temporarily, but won't kill unless you remove the head. She picked up one of the vials. Holy water? That's actually acid. Burns on contact. And silver? Myth. Does nothing. Ben handed Tony a stake. Constantine is over 800 years old. He's survived countless hunters. He's smart, patient, and absolutely ruthless. If he's so powerful, how did Catherine trap him? Mary smiled sadly. Because Constantine loved her. That was his weakness. She used it against him. Tony noticed the way Ben and Mary looked at each other, the tension, the unspoken history. You two were partners? Once, Ben said, before I knew what she was, before she saved my life and showed me that not all vampires are monsters. Constantine is different, Mary added. He sees humans as cattle, nothing more. He's killed thousands over the centuries, always covering his tracks, moving when suspicion grows. Catherine was the first to actually corner him. So what's the plan? Ben pointed to a blueprint of the cathedral. We go in at dawn. You stay behind us. Your job is to find Mike and get him out while we handle Constantine. I want to help fight. You'll die, Mary said flatly. In seconds. This isn't negotiable. Tony wanted to argue, but looking at their faces, at the scars Ben tried to hide, at the ancient weariness in Mary's eyes, he understood. They'd seen horrors he couldn't imagine. Fine, but if Mike is hurt, we'll get him out, Ben promised, whatever it takes. They spent the remaining hours preparing, and Tony tried not to think about how many of them might not see tomorrow's sunset. They reached the old cathedral at first light and touched the horizon. The building was a Gothic monstrosity, abandoned for decades, its windows boarded and bell tower crumbling. Mary moved ahead, impossibly silent. Even this close to dawn, her strength was evident. She pulled away boards that would have taken Tony 10 minutes to budge. The interior was worse than the warehouse. Scratches covered the walls, desperate, clawing marks. Bones littered the corners, some decades old, others disturbingly fresh. He's close, Mary whispered. I can feel him. Ben loaded his crossbow. Tony, stay behind me. Don't make a sound. They descended stone steps into the catacombs beneath the cathedral. The smell of death was overwhelming. Tony held his flashlight with trembling hands, every shadow a potential threat. Then he heard it, a weak cough, human. Mike! He started forward, but Ben grabbed his arm. Wait! The cough came again, from a side chamber. Tony pulled free and rushed toward it. Mike was chained to the wall, pale and barely conscious. Bite marks covered his neck and arms. His eyes fluttered open. Tony? His voice was barely a whisper. Run! I'm getting you out. Tony fumbled with the chains, but they were solid iron, locked. Touching reunion, a voice said from the darkness. A man stepped into the light, tall, aristocratic features, dressed in clothes that looked simultaneously modern and timeless. His eyes were ancient, cold, and completely black. Constantine smiled, revealing elongated fangs. I was hoping you'd come. Mary stepped between Tony and the vampire. her own features shifting, eyes darkening, fangs extending. Let them go, Constantine. Mary. Constantine's smile widened. How long has it been? Vienna, 1823. You were beautiful then. Still are, despite the company you keep. His gaze flicked to Ben. The hunter. Catherine's successor. How tragic. The wards are back up, Ben lied, raising his crossbow. The police are coming. You're trapped. Constantine laughed, the sound echoing off stone walls. You think I fear human authorities? I've outlived empires, watched civilizations crumble. He moved closer, faster than sight. Suddenly he was inches from Ben. I could tear out your throat before that finger twitches. But he didn't. He stepped back, looking at Mike. The boy saw her, the one who freed me. A woman with red hair and a symbol tattooed on her wrist. An old symbol one I haven't seen in centuries. His eyes narrowed. You know what that means, Mary? The Order, Mary breathed. That's impossible. They were destroyed. Were they? Constantine circled them like a predator. Someone knew exactly which wards to break, exactly when I'd be weakest. They wanted me free. The question is why? He grabbed Mike's face roughly. This one has information they want. Suppressed. Otherwise, why keep him alive? Tony pulled out his stake. Let him go, or... Constantine was on him instantly, hand around his throat, lifting him off the ground. Or what, child? You'll stake me? He squeezed, cutting off Tony's air. I've been staked 47 times. It hurts, briefly. Then I heal. Constantine, Mary's voice cracked like thunder. If you kill him, I'll make sure you never rest again. I'll hunt you to the ends of the earth. They stared at each other, centuries of history passing between them. Finally, Constantine dropped Tony. I'm not your enemy here. The Order is. They freed me for a reason, and when they're done with me, they'll come for you. He unlocked Mike's chains. Take your human. Go. Find the woman with the red hair before the Order finds you. Why help us? Ben demanded. Because Mary once showed me mercy when she didn't have to. Constantine met her eyes. Consider this a debt repaid. They took Mike to Mary's apartment. He was weak, feverish, but alive. Mary gave him something, blood mixed with herbs, that helped him heal faster. Tell us everything, Ben said gently. What happened? Mike's hands shook as he sipped water. I was taking photos for my urban exploration blog. The warehouse seemed perfect. I heard voices in the basement, a woman and a man. She was chanting in a language I didn't recognize, breaking those symbols on the walls. The woman with red hair, Tony said. Yeah, she saw me, but she didn't seem worried. Just smiled and said, perfect timing. Then Constantine burst out. He was skeletal, desperate. He grabbed the other man first, the one helping her. Killed him in seconds. Mary leaned forward. What did the woman do? She vanished, literally disappeared. 1 second there, next second gone. Then Constantine grabbed me, dragged me to that cathedral. He kept asking me questions about the woman, what symbols she wore, where she went. Mike's voice cracked. He said if I told anyone what I saw, she'd kill everyone I loved. The Order of the Crimson Moon, Mary said quietly. They were vampire hunters, but not like Ben. They believed vampires were demons that had to be controlled, enslaved. They used ancient magic, blood rituals. The last recorded members died in 1847. Apparently not, Ben said. Why would they free Constantine? Control, Mary said. The Order believed they could bind vampires, use them as weapons. If they've survived all these years, building power in secret. She looked at them grimly. Freeing an ancient vampire would be step 1. Binding him to their will would be step 2. Tony's head spun. This is insane. Magic? Secret orders? This can't be real. Mike grabbed his arm. It's real, Tony. I watched a man die. I felt Constantine's hand around my throat. This is all real. A crash from the window. Glass exploded inward. 3 figures in red robes landed in the apartment, moving with inhuman speed. The Order had found them. Mary moved first, faster than the others could follow. She caught one robed figure, slammed them into the wall hard enough to crack plaster. But the figure twisted, drawing a dagger that glowed with strange symbols and slashed Mary's arm. She screamed, a sound of pure agony. The wound sizzled, black smoke rising from charred flesh. Consecrated silver, the figure said, a woman's voice, mixed with vampire blood and blessed under a blood moon. It won't kill you, but it will hurt. Ben fired his crossbow. The bolt struck another attacker in the shoulder, but they pulled it out as if it were a splinter. They're enhanced, not human anymore. The third figure advanced on Tony and Mike. The witness comes with us. Resist, and we'll kill everyone else. Tony grabbed his stake, knowing it was useless. But Mike stood, still weak, still shaking. No more running, Mike said. He lunged at the figure, not to fight, but to grab their mask. It tore away, revealing the red-haired woman underneath. She was young, maybe 30, with that symbol tattooed on her wrist, a crimson moon with a blade through it. You freed Constantine, Mike said. Why? She smiled. We've been planning this for 150 years, building resources, gathering knowledge, waiting for the right moment. Constantine was just the beginning. We're freeing them all. All? Mary gasped from across the room, clutching her wounded arm. How many? 12 ancients, bound across the world, warriors who'll serve our purpose. The woman's eyes gleamed with fanaticism. A new world is coming, one where the order rules through vampire strength. Ben shot her in the chest. She staggered but didn't fall, pulling the bolt out. That won't work. No, a voice said from the door. But I will. Constantine stood in the entrance, backlit by the rising sun. He wore heavy clothing, gloves, a wide-brimmed hat, but smoke rose from his exposed skin. Coming here was agony for him. You freed me to enslave me, he said quietly. That was a mistake. He moved through sunlight, through pain, and tore into the Order members with centuries of rage. The fight lasted less than a minute. When it was over, all three lay dead. Constantine stood in the center of the carnage, smoke still rising from his burns. The sun is rising. I need shelter. Why help us? Ben demanded, crossbow still aimed. Because I was a slave once, centuries ago. I escaped, built my freedom. I won't be chained again. Constantine's black eyes met each of theirs. The Order has 11 more vampires to free. Each one will be offered the same choice I was. Serve or die. Most will serve. I'm the exception. Mary stood, her wound already healing. Where are the others? Scattered. Prague, Cairo, Tokyo, Peru, all hidden in places of power, warded like I was. The Order has teams moving on each location. He pulled out a phone and showed them a map with marked locations. They'll hit Prague next. A vampire named Soren, 600 years old, nearly as strong as me. We can't stop them all, Ben said. No, but we can stop Prague. Warn Soren, help him fight when they come. Constantine looked at the brothers. You two need to disappear. The Order knows you saw their faces, their symbol. They'll send more. Tony stepped forward. No, Mike and I are in this now. If there's a chance to stop these lunatics, we're helping. You're human, fragile. I'm stubborn. Tony's jaw set. And Mike almost died because of this. We deserve to see it through. Constantine studied him for a long moment, then smiled, a genuine expression that looked strange on his ancient face. Catherine was stubborn too. That's why I loved her. He turned to Mary and Ben. The four of you go to Prague. I'll head to Cairo. Try to reach Amara before the Order does. You're splitting up? Mary asked. We have to. Time is against us. Constantine moved toward the door, keeping to shadows. Mary, you have my number now. We'll coordinate as we can. Wait, Mike said. Why did Catherine trap you? If you loved each other... Constantine's expression darkened. Because I killed her brother. He discovered what I was. Threatened to expose me. I was younger then, more reckless. I didn't realize until too late that she'd never forgive that betrayal. He looked at Ben. She spent her life hunting me. I spent mine running from her. In the end, we were both prisoners. He vanished into the pre-dawn shadows, leaving them to prepare for the battle ahead. They reached Prague 24 hours later. Ben, Mary, Tony, and Mike. The city was beautiful. ancient spires touching gray skies. But there was no time for sightseeing. Soren's location was an ossuary beneath a monastery, warded and forgotten. They descended stone steps lined with human skulls, the weight of centuries pressing down. "Soren," Mary called out. "I'm Mary Vasquez. I'm here to help." Movement in the darkness. A figure emerged, lean, bald, with tribal tattoos covering his scalp. His eyes were violet, unusual even for vampires. "Help?" His accent was thick, Eastern European. "I need no help. I need freedom." "The Order of the Crimson Moon is coming," Ben said. "They'll free you, then try to enslave you with blood magic." Soren's laugh echoed off Bones. "Let them try. I was a warrior before the bloodlust took me. I've survived crusades, plagues, world wars. What are a few fanatics?" "They have weapons that can hurt us," Mary warned. "They're enhanced, fast, coordinated." "Good. I was getting bored." The first explosion came from above. The order wasn't subtle this time. They were breaching with military precision. Mike grabbed Tony's arm. "We need to leave. Now." But the stairs were blocked. 6 order members descended, surrounding them. The leader, a man with a scarred face, smiled. 2 vampires, 1 hunter, 2 witnesses. What a prize." Soren laughed. "I accept your challenge." The fight was chaos. Soren moved like lightning, centuries of warrior instinct guiding every strike. But the order was prepared. Holy water, consecrated blades, binding chains. They worked as a unit, coordinating to overwhelm him. Mary joined the fight, her speed matching Soren's. Ben fired precisely, taking out 2 order members with headshots. No enhanced healing could survive that. Tony and Mike weren't useless. They grabbed fallen weapons, fought with desperate courage. Mike stabbed one attacker with a consecrated blade, the same weapon that had hurt Mary. The woman screamed as the blade burned through her enhanced flesh. "The weapons work on them too," Mike shouted. The tide turned. Within minutes, all 6 order members lay dead or dying. Soren stood over the carnage, breathing hard. Impressive, for humans. "We need to move," Mary said. "More will come." But they all knew this was just the beginning. They gathered in a safe house outside Prague, the 5 of them and Constantine, who'd arrived from Cairo with grave news. Amara was already freed, already bound. His face was grim. "She attacked me on sight, called me a traitor, and said the order promised her unlimited hunting grounds if she served." He showed burns across his chest. "She was always the cruelest of us. Now she's their weapon." Ben updated his map. 11 locations, 11 ancient vampires. The order had freed 5, lost Constantine, bound 1. That left 5 more to reach before the blood moon. "We can't save them all," Mary said. "We don't have the numbers, the time." "Then we go after the order itself," Tony suggested. "Cut off the head." "They're too scattered, too careful." Ben shook his head. "We don't even know where their headquarters is." Mike had been quiet, studying his photos. The woman, the one who freed Constantine, she said something while she was chanting. A name, Morgana. Mary froze. "Morgana Blackwood? You know her." "She was Catherine's teacher, the one who taught her vampire hunting, gave her the wards that trapped Constantine." Mary's voice was hollow. "She was order leadership before they supposedly fell. If she's alive, she'd be over 200 years old," Ben finished, "and she'd know everything about vampire binding." Constantine stood. "Then that's our target. We find Morgana, we end this." "And the other vampires?" Soren asked. "The ones yet to be freed?" "We warn them," Mary said. "Give them the choice Constantine had. Fight with us or face enslavement." Tony looked at his brother. They'd come looking for a missing person and found a war. Mike was healing, but would carry those scars forever. "We're in," Tony said. "Whatever you need." Mike pulled out his cracked phone, scrolling through images. "Here, these symbols on the floor, this altar." I didn't know what they meant then, but Mary grabbed the phone, her face going pale. "This is a binding seal, not for one vampire, but for all of them simultaneously. If they complete this ritual," she looked at them, fear evident for the first time, "every vampire they free will be bound instantly, slaves to the Order's will. When? Ben demanded. The next blood moon. 3 weeks from now. The weight of that deadline settled over them like a shroud. 3 weeks to find Morgana Blackwood and stop a ritual 150 years in the making. 3 weeks to save vampires who might not want saving. 3 weeks to prevent a war that could consume cities. We have 3 weeks, Ben said, standing. We find Morgana, stop the ritual, and free any vampires we can. It won't be easy. Most of us won't survive. But if we do nothing, Mary said quietly, the Order wins. 12 ancient vampires, bound and unleashed. Cities would burn. They looked at each other, vampire and hunter, human brothers, ancient enemies, now allies. An impossible team facing impossible odds. Then we fight, Tony said. Constantine smiled, that same genuine expression from before. There's always hope, even for monsters like us. You're not monsters, Tony said firmly. Monsters don't fight to protect people. Monsters don't sacrifice themselves for strangers. What are we then? Mary asked. Tony smiled. Human, where it counts. As night fell, the team moved out, beginning their hunt for Morgana Blackwood and the Order of the Crimson Moon. The real war was just beginning. The last sunset painted the sky blood red as they prepared. Tony watched it through the window, wondering if any of them would see another one. Behind him, Constantine stood in shadow, ancient and patient. Beautiful, isn't it? The sun. I used to watch it every evening, centuries ago, before the bloodlust took me. He paused. If we stop the Order, if we survive, perhaps I'll find a way to see it rise again. Mary joined them, her reflection absent in the window's glass. There's always hope, even for monsters like us. You're not monsters, Tony repeated. Monsters don't fight to protect people. They were outnumbered, outmatched, and facing an enemy with 150 years of preparation. But they were together, and sometimes that was enough. The end.
And that's where we leave our heroes tonight. If you made it this far, you're officially part of the story crew. Here's what I need from you. Smash that like button if you want. Part 2, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss it. Drop a comment. Who should survive? Who should die?